All right, guys, welcome to episode 8 of Tangent Zone. I am Ricky alongside Terrell,
Hello.
Will,
Hello.
and Chris.
Hello.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
Not bad.
Not bad?
Pretty
So-
decent.
Yeah. Let's say, Will, you weren't here last time. What have you
No.
been up to? I know you got a lot going
I
on.
don't know. I was out watching my cousin's house.
Yeah.
Good 45-minute drive.
Oh,
So
wow.
I didn't see a point coming back here.
Yeah. What?
That's fair.
I don't know. I haven't really been up to anything.
You haven't not seen no new movies, shows. So you're watching Show. You're almost done with that.
Yeah, almost. Then I'm going to go back to One Piece.
You can go back. Yeah, that long trudge through One Piece.
I had to stop.
I get it.
Yeah, I was at the moment. I had to stop. Then I got distracted by other shows.
Yeah,
Then I could go back.
Well, what about you, Chris? What have you been up to?
Not much. You know, just trying to. I mean, here in Ohio, it rains almost every day, and it's hard to get to yard work. And so, just, like, I finally get to do like some yard work and stuff. I mostly do yard work for other people though. I got a fun story to tell you that happened last Thursday. It's a story of what I would say the haunted wildflowers. A little bit of story time is. So for years growing up, there's this neighbor that I did yard work for. He's a real nice guy, maybe about 50, 60 or whatever. But you know, he paid me to do yard work, and I'd mow his grass, trim bushes, whatever he needed me to do. And every time I came over there, he'd always say, "Don't touch my wildflowers in the back. I want them to grow." He loved seeing them grow. He liked seeing nature grow. He's one of those guys. He was a veteran, so. And he passed away about 2 years ago. And his wife still has me over to do yard work, where she wants those wildflowers cut down. Because she just likes everything cut and clean, which is fine. So last summer I went over there, and I had a hedge trimmer that had an extension cord to it. And when I was cutting along there, my extension cord wrapped around, and I cut it. So I had to hook up a new cord. That's strike one there. All of a sudden, I hear a clink, and I look over, and my hedge trimmer, the tooth had bent down, and it was jammed. I couldn't use any pair of pliers to unjam it because that metal is pretty tough. So I went home over the weekend. I bought myself a new hedge trimmer that was battery powered. Finished the job. Did what I had to do. Fast forward this summer, they all grew back. Last Thursday, I went over there, and I'm cutting all these wildflowers down again. And there's a piece of wood embedded into the ground. I didn't think much of it. When I stepped over it, I feel a pinch in my ankle, a pinch up my leg. And I look up, and there's bees everywhere. And I pinch another, so I run, down the yard. Halfway down the other side of the yard, I'm still getting, stung here. So I got stung 6, 7 times.
Jeez.
Stepped into a bee's nest, what I assume. I dropped my hedge trimmer. That's the bees now.
Right.
So I look back over there, and I just see the bees all over this hedge trimmer. And figured that's strike 3. After nothing has had me convinced that these wildflowers are haunted at this point. I feel like that's just the guy. It's just his ghost telling me to get away from them, stop cutting them down.
Right.
But his wife wants them down, so I'm going over there again later this week. Late the candle raid and try to exterminate the bees and cut down the rest of the wildflowers. We'll see what happens next summer. And it did rain when I hope my hedge trimmer, I left it over there because I hope at least she brought him, or at least her grandson brought it inside or something. Because it did rain the next day, so I might have to buy another hedge trimmer. We'll see. I'll keep you updated in the next episode. But that is the story of the haunted wildflowers. And lots of bee stings.
Yeah, bees have been crazy this year. Actually, at my job, there's a door in the back where we keep open, kind of cool it down in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a shit ton of bees over there. And actually, a buddy of ours that works with me is allergic to bees, and he has to work in that area.
Oh.
And so he's been using his welder gun. He's been welding bees and shooting at them to kill them. So you see a bunch of just dead bees over there? He's taking his little personal jabs, stomping them out.
I'm lucky I'm not allergic. I mean, to me, it's just a little pinch, so I can handle a couple of bees.
See, we got a bee issue at my job, and then there's also, you'll see some wasps flying around. I went to empty, a scrap hopper out the one day, and the owner was out there with me because he was training me on how to do it. He's like, yeah, just watch out for the wasps. I'm like, what do you mean wasps? And then just, right where I got to dump these in here. I'm like, I'm going to piss off these fucking things. We get attacked. He's like, well, are you allergic? I'm like, I've never been stung, so I don't know. I got stung by a bee once, and I found I'm not allergic there, but I don't know about a wasp.
Yeah, I would just bring a can of Ray to work at that point. I'd just do them a favor.
That's what I'm going to have to do.
Yeah. It's... yeah, I can handle it. I'm not even allergic to poison ivy, so... Well, I'm one of those people and not allergic to a lot of things.
Nice.
Yeah, there's some bees at my job. I think in one of the dumpsters over there, people keep telling me there's bees over there. Stay away from that area. But it is what it is.
Well, yeah, because I used to work with you there, and there used to be a bunch of bees, and there was like a wasp nest like around the one corner, like farther away from the job. And it was the next summer out there, and they sent a fellow worker of ours. I'm not gonna say his name. They sent him over there with a weed whacker, and I'm like, that's not a good idea. Luckily, I think they had died, so he didn't know that. I'm like, they said he was out there. I'm like, well, you guys know there's a bunch of wasps in that over there, right? He's in the ground. They're like, I think he'll be all right.
It's funny you say that because last summer when I started, there were bees all over my car.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember that? Yeah.
They were just hanging out. Like, even the next day you came back, and they just got there.
It was gradual up until fall. There were just more and more bees on my car by the end of the day, and I ended up just trying to park somewhere else at that point.
I forgot about that.
Since I took the highway to work back home, they would just fly off, and I got lucky. I had to remember the one day my car was just covered in bees, and I was like, okay, so
let's get in.
I had to think about it. Yeah, just me and Will carpool, and I was just like, all right, here's the game plan. You get in the car first, I get in the car, I slam the door, and we just go. And I think I just gunned it to try and shake them off and hop on the highway, and they were off by that point. But that was... And then I just went to a car wash after that, because I was like, whatever's on my car that they're attracted to has got to get off now.
So he's
got the most supreme car wash I could do. It was like $25.
So you got those poor bastards working at the car wash, like 16 years old, like, oh, come forward, just getting attacked by bees. What the fuck? Like, yeah, wash them, get them off.
Get them off now. Because that was like I think that was a Friday, because it was like Monday. It was like 2 or 3 bees on my car. Tuesday, like 5 or 6. By Friday, it was covered, and I was done, and I wasn't having it. It's like there's a nest over here in my car somewhere, and I'm just not having it today. I'm just getting it taken care of. I got paid, so I'm having the best car. And then I didn't have a problem after that, so must have taken care of whatever was there.
Okay. Someone probably hit some ice cream on your car somewhere.
Oh, maybe.
It was weird, because I remember, it was weird. It was like people parked next to you, but it was just your car.
Yeah, I know.
You don't have that car anymore.
I don't have that. I sold that car a couple of weeks ago.
If you used to sold it with the bees.
I
You didn't write that down, like,
right.
hey, this car attracts bees.
I sold it to my dad, so I mean that's his problem now.
Right.
I haven't had a bee problem in the past couple of weeks, so I'm great. Or past month, whatever. So, and my new car hasn't had a bee problem. So yeah. Don't say.
Right.
I don't know. I got a yard equipment in there right now, so we'll see.
Knock on some wood on that.
Yeah, knock on wood.
I think it's real wood.
Yeah, it is.
Looks like it. Anyway, Terrell, what have you been up to?
Not a whole lot. I painted one figure because I'm lazy this week. Aside from that, I went to start my D&D campaign, and it turns out that I needed to help more than just a little bit. But I mean, it's good because like at the same time, I'm like this 25-year veteran of D&D, and the only one other person is role played, and I've role played with him for years, but he's never really played D&D, and then we're playing a whole nother new edition. So and that's fun. I got to explain the rules, and I feel like I possibly got people to understand what was going on. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I guess we'll see when the actual game kicks off, and I'll be able to gauge where they're at. I mean, aside from that, not Not much, just world building. I beat the game of Octopath Traveler with a few more characters. I think I might have played Remnant from the Ashes a little bit, but I didn't really get into a whole lot. It seemed I went to the Geek Easy this weekend and played this board game for Ninja Turtles, which was pretty cool. And then I played this one game called Clank, where you sneak into this dungeon to steal relics from a dragon, and the more you move around, the more noise you make, and they call it a clank meter. So as the dragon wakes up, you pull out stuff, and if he pulls out your clank, he pretty much is burning you along the way, like he's dealing damage. You got to go in there, fish out some relics, and then get the hell out. It's a pretty fun game. Both of them were. But yeah.
I did get you to watch a movie yesterday.
Yeah, two.
Yeah, oh yeah, two of them.
What movie?
I got him to watch Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island. He's never seen it.
Huh.
And I watched Holes,
Yeah.
which I had never seen that.
Did you hear about the upcoming?
Holes is like the only book I've ever read.
Did you hear about the upcoming Scooby-Doo crossover movie?
Oh, with Courage, yeah.
Courage the Cowardly
I'm
Dog?
excited. I feel like that's
The
too
tra-
perfect for them.
I know,
to,
but the trailer,
That's
it looks perfect.
Yeah.
I'm excited for
Yeah.
this one. I do want to see that.
Yeah, no,
We'll
I've been
talk about
trying
that.
to get Terrell to watch Zombie Island for a while now, so I went out and bought it. It's because that's my favorite zombie films.
Scooby-Doo?
Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island. Because it does something that no other zombie film has ever done, and it's good. At the same time, there's a twist with the zombies. I know you guys have had to have seen it. If not, I'm be so pissed at you guys.
It's been a long time.
The zombies are the good guys. They're warning them to get out of that. That's the whole point why they're chasing
Oh,
them, is
yeah.
to leave.
That's right.
They're trying
I
to
remember
save
the-
them.
I remember the movie now.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I gotta.
Eventually,
rewatch
I
it,
gotta
'cause
get 'em.
I probably watched that as a little kid.
Yeah.
We
when I was
have them
too young to
downstairs. We have them
understand.
downstairs.
Well, yeah, Witch's Ghost is gonna be the next one I gotta get Terrell to watch. 'Cause he's never seen those ones from the '90s, the Alien Invaders,
I was
Witch's
never
Ghost.
big in Scooby Doo.
Or
My
something.
favorite, the big one.
Well, that's the prime. So like
What was
that's
the
like it
one-
doesn't
well,
get
that's the
better than
greatest
those
Scooby-Doo.
movies.
Right.
Like the cartoon from the '70s, honestly, is not that good. It's iconic, but it's not that good.
Right.
Wow.
Hey, it's
I
not.
That's
didn't-
harsh.
I
mean,
didn't care.
What
for it.
what new Scooby-Doo is the better show?
Okay, I'll give it
Pup
to. I
named-
give it
I
to
gotta
you.
give
It's got a
Ricky
better theme
A
song.
pup named Scooby Doo.
I gotta agree
Pup
with
named
Ricky on this
Scooby-Doo.
one.
Okay,
Sure.
I got you. Pup name.
That's
I
the
do
show.
have to agree with Ricky on this one. Sorry. I feel like I just interrupted
Oh,
everyone.
you're all good. We were just. going
I said it like 3 times.
Pup named Scooby Doo. Yes.
Yeah, pup named Scooby Doo is there. Yeah.
That's where it is.
What I was saying is I do have to agree with Ricky here. Was a few years back, when Supernatural was still a thing, and they did that Scooby Doo crossover, Scooby Natural. They crossed it over with a specific episode from the original show.
Jeepers Creepers one.
Yeah.
Creeper.
And I went
Creeper.
back to watch that original episode, and it just wasn't as satisfying.
No,
It's weird because the Supernatural crossover had the charm of, what we grew up watching,
Yeah.
but not the charm of the original. And you watch the original, and you're like, oof.
Yeah,
It's kinda rough.
Says, as iconic as like that show, like the original, those villains are. It's rough. It was '70s and it was so formulaic. Like I mean,
Yeah.
every episode is just the same. I mean, obviously it's Scooby Doo. He's just the villain of the week, but
Yeah.
then they had a laugh track,
I was just about to say the laugh
They
track.
did have a laugh
Oh, you
track.
did.
and they made it very cheap too. I mean, that's why you had the
Yeah.
backgrounds were just the same, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cartoons back then had laugh tracks. Yeah. Because
And-
Flintstones had a laugh track.
they did too. It was all Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
Yeah, that company they had a certain thing that they were going with. That's when you got all the Scooby Doo clones that came out right after.
Oh.
Speed Buggy.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Josie and the Pussycats or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And
sounds-
Jabberjaw.
Jabberjaw.
The Jetsons.
The Jetsons.
Captain Caveman.
Captain Caveman.
Then you got El Kabong, which
I don't
was
even
Quick Draw McGraw.
Oh, good lord.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember that
Damn,
one.
that old.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm glad I finally got you to watch Zombie Island. I said I praise that movie so much, and it always holds up every time I watch it too.
Yeah.
Like, it's not one of those I go back to like, oh man, I can't believe I liked it.
Yeah.
But out of those 4, that's actually what I was telling him yesterday. Those 4 films that came out in the '90s is what brought Scooby Doo back. Scooby Doo wasn't around for a while.
That's
I mean,
right.
you would just get some straight to DVD films like the Ghoul School and Boo Brothers, all that. But then that group, they like an all-star team of like directors and writers came together. They did 4 films, and all of a sudden, Scooby-Doo, What's New Scooby-Doo came on like right after that. It brought the show back in and brought Scooby-Doo back.
And I think Fred's been the same voice.
Same voice actor. Dude's like 74 years old.
Yeah, through everything. I think he voices Scooby too. I'm not sure on that.
Right.
I'm glad it came back because it just gave my wife the opportunity to cosplay as Velma, which is chef's kiss. You know what I'm saying? That's just the best.
There
Nice.
you go.
Yeah.
All right. Guess we're on me
Ricky,
now.
Yeah, Ricky, what have you been up to?
I haven't been up to much. Been training my ass off. That's pretty much. I mean, literally, you guys have seen all the bruises all over my body and on my face. So I haven't been able to do much. But I didn't get a chance to talk about it on the last film, at least last podcast. Was I saw Gunpowder Milkshake, new film on Netflix with Karen Gillan, Lena
I've been meaning
Headey.
to watch that.
Is it good? Because that's quite the title.
Right.
Yeah. It's basically,
Like
it's a
Lollipop
lighter
Chainsaw.
tone of like a John Wick, like assassin deal. It's definitely more comedy than it is serious. So know that going into it. It's
Okay.
more comedy.
Well,
It's very
Karen Gillian, right
yeah.
off the bat, comedians.
yeah, it's very stylized. So it's got its own like specific style to it, which is good. It's a comedy assassin. I really enjoyed it. Like I think some people, because I did read some reviews, people like didn't like it. I think they thought it was gonna be more serious than what it was. But then when it came out, I was looking because I went to find it instead of searching it up. What I always do is like try to look through Netflix to find it. And comedies, it was the number one. I'm like, oh, so it's a comedy. So I went and going like, okay, this is gonna be more jokey than what I thought, and it is more jokey. But yeah, I think the actors all did fine. It was fun, entertaining. It's pretty much an all women assassin group, which was sweet. Cause
Nice.
You know all the actresses in it too. So you see like, oh yeah, that's that person. Angela Bassett's in it.
Nice.
Still aging like fine wine. Like Jesus Christ, making me look bad over here.
Don't know who that is off the
She
top.
plays. She's in Black Panther. She plays the mother.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's
She's
also
the-
in American Horror. I knew her from
Yeah.
American Horror Story.
Yeah, she's looked the same for like 30 years now.
Right.
Good for
Yeah.
her.
Like Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman doesn't age.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There's a list of actors that don't age
It's a,
that could pull off being vampires.
it's
you
a
know? Morgan
lean.
Freeman, Angela Bassett, Tom Cruise, Paul Rudd,
Patrick
Yeah.
Stewart.
Patrick Stewart. He's getting up there. Though.
He's old,
You're
sure.
starting to see the wrinkles. And his voice.
finally.
I mean, he's looked 60 for like
Yeah.
40 years now. Even when he was in his 20s, he looked 60.
I know, and then he's a little past the 60
Now
part, and he's starting to
he's
show his
actually looking
age.
his 80s.
His voice is even graveling up a little
Yeah.
bit.
He's
in
finally
later
okay.
movies.
He's
Like,
finally aging.
If you watched Picard, and it really showed in Logan, was his. I think he did that himself, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. His voice lately has just sounded a lot more graveled than it has
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, well, I said Lena Headey plays Karen Gillan's mother in there, so it's like a mother-daughter
Okay.
Assassin
deal.
group.
Yeah, which, like I said, it's going at it's definitely
when I
fun
get a
as
chance, I'll
hell.
watch it.
Other than that, I watched the Jackass trailer, new film. They're coming out with a 4th one, but
I heard-
I love that they mentioned in it that now they're all older and like sober. So it's like, huh? Yeah, I think they made a joke like, yeah, you think,
So now
we
they're
wouldn't
just-
be doing this dumb stuff now that we're old and not on drugs anymore.
So now they're just stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically,
Perfect.
just
I've heard a lot about that movie. I haven't seen the trailer yet, though.
Yeah.
Because I know
I'll
they're
watch the
getting rid
trailer
of.
later.
Because Bam Margera was one of the people who wouldn't sober up with him.
yeah, and that was the thing is he still was dealing with his issues. And they're like, hey man, like we're all like done with that stuff.
Yeah,
man.
we're clean. You gotta go if you're not gonna do this.
Yeah. One thing, other than that, the only thing I really got to mention, which I just thought about it, it's going on right now. It's Comic-Con.
Oh, really?
San Diego. It's no people, but they're releasing some trailers. So
Okay.
that could be something we talk once everything releases, because I've got a feeling by the end of this weekend there's probably going to be some more trailers out. I'm already
Really?
looking
There's
up a
some-
list.
Oh yeah. it's-
Like the Walking Dead final trailer for season 11 is out.
What the hell?
Oh,
I stopped watching it too.
that's
Or-
yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I've actually
that's
been
cool.
rewatching some of it. I am still on
I'm-
season 1. I'm like episode 5.
I'm
I
all caught
finished
up. I
one.
watched up to the last season
How-
through COVID, and they had the
Quit
last 5
watching.
episodes come up.
Quit watching.
So I'm gonna probably go and watch the season 11 premiere when that comes out.
God, how did you make it that far through that?
I watch it with my mom. It's one of the things my mom and I watch
Gotcha.
together. So
That's
it's
good. At
just
least
why I
find
keep it
out.
up with it. It's a family thing.
It's one of those series, man. It hurts me so bad
I
because
know.
I
It's
was
each
on,
and
I
every
was in
episode.
season 1 and I literally had nobody else that watched it with me to where I had to get other people into it. Like I got my grandma, I got my cousin, I got my uncles, I got them watching, like, cause I'm always talking about Walking Dead.
And
No, just give it a shot. I know you don't like zombies, give it a shot.
Zombies are
First
awesome.
2-3 seasons, everybody's watching, it's blowing up everywhere.
At this point,
And
they're all looking at
then-
you like, come on, Ricky, why'd you get us into this?
Well, then, they dropped, like, I dropped that show. I'm like, dude, I dropped that 2 seasons ago. Like, man, you got us into it. I'm like, dude, it got rough. It got rough, and I was like, I'm out.
I started rewatching it from the beginning with my girlfriend, and
Beginning's
we're
so
at
good.
season
Oh yeah, first
7.
season's great.
Whenever I think it tanked when they got to Alexandria, is when it really went downhill because they got so many. They got Alexandria. It didn't tank when they got Alexandria. It tanked when they got 3 settlements with multiple characters involved, and you just can't. They started building it up like Marvel built up their thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't never about that. It was about a group of people surviving to their fullest.
Yeah.
And now they've gotten to their fullest, and they're trying to figure out how to build up stuff. Now they're like, oh, let's see what these guys are doing over here. Next episode, who cares about what they were doing? Let's go to this episode. These guys over here. Next episode, it's not about them anymore. It's not about these guys. And you have to wait until the season finale to watch them finally build up a team up.
Yeah.
And
Well,
get together to do what they were doing.
It's the last show from like that era of TV where it was Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones. Like those were all coming on at the exact same time, and I was watching all of them. Like invested into it,
I gotta rewatch Game of Thrones.
Those shows ended, and Walking Dead
and dragging across the desert.
Yeah, which you're saying is some series I don't mind go on longer. If there's something there, there's nothing there, man.
They're just milking it at this point. They're trying.
Like, other series have started and ended in between there. Like, Black Sails started in 2014 and in 2017. It's my favorite show of all time. Walking Dead's still like, man, you guys did it right. You guys knew where you were going to end it. You ended it there. We're good.
I feel like Walking Dead, the problem with Walking Dead is they didn't really have an ending point. They're still going off of that.
The comic.
I think the
comic's over. I think it ended like 3 years ago.
Yeah, and they've branched off so far from the comic.
Yeah, it's not even the same thing.
Well, they've branched off so much.
Yeah.
The way I understand it.
Oh, yeah, it's...
And they're kind of just trying to figure out what they're doing. I feel so bad for... Because every episode, every new episode, they do a show right after a talk show, Talking Dead with Chris Hardwick. I feel so bad for Chris Hardwick because his job is literally to sit there and be hyped for every episode. Every new episode, he's like, all right, so...
great episode.
What are you guys excited about? That was so cool. I mean, not this... And then he talks to
afterwards he goes,
other people.
This was the dumbest episode
Yeah,
in the world.
I feel like midway through every episode, he's like sweating like, Jesus Christ, this is rough.
You just see in his
All
eyes.
right, it's a
he's just
paycheck.
dying.
All right, guys, that was cool. What?
That's 2 hours for him.
Let's talk
'cause he's
about
gotta
it.
Watch the episodes and talk.
He's got to
about
talk about it for like an hour.
Oh, that's 2 hours of his life. A week.
I feel bad for that dude.
He probably goes home.
His entire job is to hype up every episode.
Yeah.
Eventually, he's gonna say, "I quit. I'm done."
I don't know. He's got another year to do this. Plus, he also does Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh Lord.
He does Talking Dead for Fear the Walking Dead, and then he's probably going to be talking because they plan to end the show, and then Norman Reedus and Melissa McCarthy. No.
What was I say?
That's the comedian.
Yeah.
Melissa, whoever plays Carol.
Gotcha.
I knew that was not the right last name. Melissa was something. But those guys, Carol and Daryl, they're gonna have a spin-off together, and
Daryl's got to get away. Norman Reedus has to get away from The Walking Dead.
I know that's just
because I feel like
what built his career up.
Which I get it, he's making the money, but it's also like, man, dude, I feel like you're almost too good at this point. I want to see you do some other things.
I want to see because lately I read an article that
Melissa McBride.
McBride. I knew it was a Mick last name. I knew it was that. Yeah, I was reading an article though. Norman Reedus really wants to play Ghost Rider, and just because of the motorcycle, obviously, that's what he's got going for. He has his own show, riding with Norman Reedus, where he rides motorcycles with people. So
I wouldn't hate it. I'll say that.
I mean, it's just and then you had him in Death Stranding, which was a really weird game.
Yeah.
I still gotta continue that.
They're coming out with the director's cut of that.
Yeah, we're just giving more features and stuff.
Norman Reedus is 52.
Wow.
Oh,
Really?
Well, I mean, it's the show's 11th season. So he'd been around 40s.
He's aging pretty good. I
Yeah.
want to say he's aging.
Boondock
He looks
Saints.
like he's like a
Yeah.
40-year-old
Holy shit.
that's just tired all of the time.
Yeah.
He looks like he doesn't get sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, his eyes are always squinted. He's wrinkled up. He just looks like he's sleep deprived. He doesn't even look aged.
Yeah.
He doesn't look 52. He just looks like a very sleep deprived 40-year-old.
He's trying to do his best to look like Clint Eastwood. At
Yeah,
this point.
maybe that's
Yeah.
it.
What, squinty eyes?
He could play Clint Eastwood in a movie. I could see it. Like a young
He's
Clint
got to get more
Eastwood.
bitter.
Yeah.
He's got to get... Yeah, he's got to shave,
Tell more kids
put a
to get off
cowboy
his
hat
lawn.
on, and make him look really angry. I think he could pull it off.
Angry?
Angry.
Yeah.
Angry.
What country is that in?
Yeah.
That's hungry. No.
So if you're angry and hungry, are you angry?
Hungry.
Hangry.
Angry?
Yeah, that's usually like when your girlfriend's mad at you.
No, I
get that
hear
sometimes,
hangry
so.
all the time. It's hangry.
But yeah. So Comic-Con, hopefully we get some
Yeah, we talk about
trailers.
Comic-Con.
Yeah. So hopefully we get something good. I know this is another weird year with Comic-Con where normally this is when all the trailers come out, but now with everything going on, everything's such like behind. So hopefully next year we get something more. But so you guys want to jump right into Star Wars Episode 8?
That was our movie review, yeah.
Yeah,
the whole
movie
that was
review.
today's.
Our
sorry.
bad review.
Today's bad movie review for our special Tangent Zone Episode 8 was Star Wars Episode 8, The
Yeah.
Last Jedi.
Yeah, the movie we were discussing that was kind of one of the backbones to this podcast, and we made it's like, okay, Episode 8's gonna be Episode 8.
Yeah, and so watching it in theaters, I'm gonna be honest, I enjoyed it because it's a visually stunning movie.
Yeah,
Rewatching it today is
It felt like it dragged on.
It was a rough watch.
yeah. It's the third time I've seen it. I saw it in theaters,
I
and
think
then
it's my second.
last year I rewatched all the films in order, about timeline wise.
Oh, so you went 4, 5, 6, 1,
Yeah.
2, 3.
Yeah,
7, 8.
well, I did 1, 2, 3, and then four. Yeah,
I did that the second
it was.
Disney
Oh,
Plus
so you
came
did
out. I
the
rewatched
Yoda,
all the movies.
The Yoda order.
Yeah. Yeah, so
That's smart.
I did that, watch it. I was like, oh man, it's just not I didn't like it in theaters. I really didn't like it the second time. I kind of liked it more this time, but I think because we were just so
We were just talking about it.
yeah, because
the CGI and special effects in that movie are fantastic.
Oh, yes.
the budget they used the budget well.
Yeah, I mean,
It didn't-
it's a visually stunning movie, and the story is where it goes. And I mean, there's like the beginning
Story's
of
a
the
freaking
movie.
train wreck. It's like ADD.
The first 5
everywhere.
or 10 minutes of the movie are kind of good. You think it's going somewhere, and the movie drops down, like where the lightsaber falls off the cliff, where Luke sits there. Throws it over his shoulder. That's where things start going downhill.
Walks
and
off like
never
there's no-
picks up from there.
does not pick. The only bump of little bump up it's got is when Yoda comes back.
Oh.
It's just to give laugh at
Little
Luke
peek.
for a little bit, make fun. That's when it kind of steps up.
Well, the Rey and Kylo Ren.
I mean, it was a
fight
little
scene
bit
was
up
pretty
here
cool.
because Star
Okay,
Wars
yeah, the
7
whole-
kind of
yeah,
gave
the-
it somewhere to go lift off of, right? And first 10 minutes go a little bit up, just tank straight down,
And then you get the little bump, but
little
no.
bump, and that was it.
Yeah,
And then
the
9 did not
like
carry it well.
Terrell said, yeah, the fight scene I think, which is probably the best fight scene in the newest trilogy.
Yeah, I'd say
Which
so.
I wouldn't even know what is this trilogy technically called.
The Disney trilogy.
The Disney trilogy. It's probably the best
That's what I
fight
call
scene. I just don't feel like it's earned.
Yeah, you got.
Like I feel like I said, as we did that film when Snoke dies, when we were watching, I'm like, this feels like this should have been the third film, and this should have led up to this point of them teaming up.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just didn't. This didn't
And-
make it there.
Yeah, I feel like at that.
Like they jumped.
Ryan
They definitely
Johnson-
jumped the gun.
Ryan Johnson killed Snoke, and J.J. Abrams pulled Palpatine out of a hat and said, "All right, oh jeez,
Let's
okay."
dust this thing off real quick.
Well, yeah, because that seems
What to
when you
do, what to
kill
do, what
off the main bad guy in the second of 3 films, you have nothing for the third unless Kylo Ren was really going to be the big bad, which we all knew he wasn't going to be.
No.
there.
He was too conflicted.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been.
No.
And everybody
Yeah.
around him was trying to get him
Yeah, so
his dad was, even Luke
Yeah.
was he is good.
Yeah.
He just has to figure. So
J.J.
he knew
Abrams
he
built
wasn't gonna be
Snoke
bad.
up to be the big bad, and they killed the big bad in episode 8, and so episode 9 was kind of picking up the pieces, and he was like, oh, jeez.
He's probably just reaching a hat.
Somehow Palpatine returned. And,
I wasn't impressed.
That's all
by
you
that.
got.
Yeah.
Telling these
Snoke
little
can clone him.
LMDs, man.
Snoke's clone of Palpatine. Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
I will say that a scene I do like, but it's really not even. It doesn't really add to the film, making it better, because it's just a cool scene, and that's just when they go light speed through the ship.
Oh,
That
in
is
the
cool,
biggest
too.
explosion. It is cool, but it's also like again, it
A lot of
doesn't
Star
save-
Wars fans have literally pointed out when it comes to the way they have explained warp speed in the other movies
Yeah.
is the ship itself goes into a wormhole and transports into another spot in space.
Right.
So
Oh.
for Holdo to
yeah.
it's not speed. You're not going at light speed. You're just
Moving
warping
from one
somewhere.
place to another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless
So physically, by the Star
Instantaneously.
Wars universe, from every other movie and TV show, that should not have happened.
unless
is basically
she
what they're-
rerouted all the power to the engines and just shot the engines at high speed, not engaging the hyperdrive.
Yeah, she might not have did warp speed. It might have just been the light speed.
Theoretically, but you
I
know,
don't know.
she,
But again,
even
that's
Because they
that's
straight up
gotta
said
take-
she was
that's gonna
like,
take a long
she's.
acceleration.
Yeah.
They straight up said, no, oh, they're engaging their. What, they're engaging
That's right. They said they're engaging the hyperdrive.
hyperdrive.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Unless they didn't turn on the wormhole part of the hyperdrive and just engage the engines for the speed.
I would hope that's the reason. But
But I'm going with that.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't
And then
know enough
episode
about
9 made fun of
physics and
that.
that to really if this is technically possible or not.
Wormhole
I mean, it
travel
is.
technically possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just nobody has the power to do it,
Right.
or navigation or technology yet.
So what you're saying is I can marry Scarlett Johansson. I just physically can't do it as of right now.
That's
Anything's
true.
possible by that logic.
Well, if you're
Yeah.
brave, if you're brave
That's
enough, you
true.
can walk up to her.
I mean,
Yeah.
she just had her second kid and her husband. I mean,
Yeah. You gotta fight them to the
you
death
gotta
first.
you gotta compete with whoever her husband is. Let me look
Yeah.
this up. Who is?
I know who it is. He's a
let
comedian.
me go to Google.
Oh, so that's why she stays with him. She laughs every night.
Let's see.
Has bad
Who
jokes.
is?
I want to be Dex Shepard, and her and Kristen Bell gotta share.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But,
Internet do not vilify. me.
Colin Jost.
yeah.
I don't know.
Interestingly enough, between 2008 and 2011, she was married to Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw those photos when they leaked.
And actually, someone.
They can never be
That's
together.
right. So, you know, okay, I did know that because I read an article. As part of Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds' contract to the MCU, Deadpool and Black Widow will never have a scene together.
They
He
literally
made
can't.
that perfectly clear. He cannot work with Scarlett Johansson.
God damn, how bad would that relationship been? That's like the Lena Headey and fucking dude who played Braun on Game of Thrones. Used to be in a relationship and they were not allowed to be on set at the same time. So there's not a scene between those two.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and so that's why when Braun they come to King's Landing, where Braun just dips out.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Okay, back to Star Wars, episode
Back to
8.
Star
Do we
Wars.
have to talk about it?
Yeah,
Like I really don't want to talk about it. It's had to.
that's it's the out of okay. So this is technically the 4th film that we've done for the bad movie reviews. You guys know my opinion on Last Airbender, how much I hated that. This film I'm just so
Yes.
disappointed with.
Right.
Like I didn't
At
have.
least it can hold your attention better than Avatar.
Yeah, but that's the
Or
thing is
Last
like
Airbender.
it had the film beforehand. There was lead up.
Yeah.
You know,
and
all
then-
these characters were set up to do great things. I'm like, oh man, I want to see where this trilogy's gonna go, and I just watched. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Right.
Like not even like angry, just more of like bored and like, what do you?
Well-
Why are we doing these pointless side quests that aren't going anywhere? None of them go anywhere.
Right.
No, they don't.
None
No.
of them have a satisfying conclusion.
No,
to any
I
of
think
it.
there's 4 or 5 different side stories.
Yeah, because
And
Ray
somehow
does
the-
hers with Luke.
Yeah. And
Then
the
you
Rebel
got Finn
fleet
and
has 6 hours of
Yeah.
fuel.
Finn and Rose.
And
then
you got
Poe.
Poe. And
So-
then as a side thing, as a twist, was is it Holdo or Halding?
I don't remember.
Whatever.
Holdo?
The pink-haired chick. And Leia
I thought it was
had her
purple.
own thing. Had
Yeah.
her own mindset going.
Leia
Yeah.
kind of did the magical float through space.
And then,
Yeah.
as another side piece, was Rey and Kylo.
Yeah, that little connection. That I feel like they wanted to lead up to do something more with that, and that doesn't.
Yeah, so
Maybe there's deleted
One of the
scenes in the
things that-
DVD that we don't know about.
one of the
Maybe.
things that really confused me about that was, okay, so Snoke had revealed, like, oh, I'm the one that put this connection, that forced a connection to you, so you guys think is something between you two. And that was all me, so there really wasn't anything there.
Yeah.
And they kill him off, and at the end of the movie, they're connected again. That made, like, that...
No.
I don't know... Didn't make sense to me. It was like a big plot hole they threw out there.
It doesn't. It seems like they were really pushing for like a chosen one deal
Yeah.
between it's between these two, of like who's it's gonna be, or like they to win it's gonna take both of them coming together. Like that's why there's such this deep connection. And again, doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I mean,
matter.
the problem with another...
It doesn't.
The problem is they want to do...
Sorry.
They want to do another Chosen One storyline.
They've already done
But
that.
George Lucas had already built up the storyline prophecy of the Chosen One. Yeah.
Honestly, he should
Chosen
he
One
should have kept those
prophecy.
movies.
And it's already done it over with.
Yeah, I mean, chosen one was everybody thought it was Luke, but it was technically Anakin,
Yeah.
because he is the one who technically kills.
Well,
Anakin.
Anakin
He also
technically-
brought balance to the Force too.
Yeah.
You kill
Not in the
you-
way they thought, but he
Yeah,
definitely
but
did.
see,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
thought that was a kind of a nice little deal with it. Was like everything. It's all Luke's gonna be the guy, and it was Vader by the end.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
Vader
Vader
changing
It's
back.
always been Vader.
Vader did
Yeah.
technically bring balance to the
Yeah.
Force, because if you think about it, the Jedi were up here at their peak, and the Sith were too, and Vader brought it 2 and 2, because all that was left by the end was Obi-Wan and Yoda, and over here you had, Sidious and Vader. So technically, it was brought at a balance.
Yeah,
Up until Luke decided to mess it all up.
that's nothing. The
But
whole
I mean,
I don't think Vader was ever truly evil though.
He knew what he was
he
doing.
killed those kids, but
Yeah.
fuck those.
Oh yeah,
kids.
he was a homicidal maniac.
He knew what he did.
Fuck those
Vader knew
kids.
what he was doing.
But I never felt like he was truly dark.
He was very conflicted.
Not as dark as like Sidious, where Sidious
So-
would go into a room, just kill everybody, just then laugh and walk off.
I feel like in Vader's younger days as Anakin Skywalker, he was very conflicted, like we saw Kylo in Episode 8. Like, he just filled with anger. He wanted to just punch everything. And I
Kylo
feel like
did
that's what
punch
it was.
everything.
I mean, he gave Obi-Wan an attitude in Episode 2. Like,
Yeah.
real hardcore
Oh
attitude.
yeah.
And so I feel like... As he turned into Vader, he kind of just became more calmly angry about it.
Grr.
Just kind of like, oh, yep, time to kill again. Now, here I go killing again.
Oh boy, I love killing again.
Well, I think he also had no one to talk to about things.
Yeah,
'cause, I mean, who's he talking to? I mean,
Yeah.
Vader at that point is not very a talkative guy, and the only, he would talk around.
Or if he talked to somebody-
Obi-Wan and that.
He would talk to
everybody else.
Sidious, but Sidious was...
No.
Uh,
If he actually talked to somebody, who
Vader's
was killing
suit
them.
himself conflicted his... Like, literally constricted him in his power level. So Sidious was, like, way up here above him, and Vader could not possibly rebel against him.
Mhm.
He could try, but he'd fail and die. And so he feared Sidious for that.
That suit also helped him breathe and everything.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, he
was
was also so beat
he was
down.
in
That's what I'm saying, he
serious
was-
crippled after the fight with Obi-Wan.
Exactly.
And
He
that
was
suit helped
jacked
him
up.
breathe, but it also constricted him. I mean, the prequels, he was doing flips left to right and sideways. He killed the entire Jedi Order, but I feel like as Darth Vader, he could not do it again.
No.
He couldn't.
No, he had favored more of the Force and powers. Throw people off the ledges.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
slam
there
people.
was-
he did favor the Force. He'd throw people off the edges. He was powerful. Don't get me wrong. He was powerful. He'd throw his lightsaber. He would force choke people. But I don't think he could go in there in a full Darth Vader suit and take down the Jedi Order a second time.
No, like
Right.
even during that timeline, he was technically the fourth strongest
Yeah.
out of all the Jedi, because Mace Windu was stronger than he was, Yoda was, and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan beat him.
Yeah.
It could have killed him if he wanted to.
Yeah,
Like,
and
so
the
he-
only reason he beat Mace Windu was because it was 2 against 1.
Yeah, and he basically, I don't say
It was a
attacked him from
distraction.
behind, but yeah, it was that.
I cut your hands off
It's a
and you
low
get blown
blow
off.
kind of
Yeah, and he wouldn't beat Yoda. And
No, nobody could beat Yoda. We
Yeah.
know that for a fact.
Yeah, I think even a prime Luke probably beats Vader at a certain point.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
He
Yeah.
did beat it.
Yeah.
So
He did beat it. Yeah.
But
So
he was-
like,
Luke
I
was
feel
a
like
fighter.
as Anakin Skywalker, he went and slaughtered all of the Jedi that he could. As Darth Vader, he wouldn't be able to do it a second time.
No.
I feel like
he's so. They said he was already. They
I
said
concur.
not the strongest then.
He's
And he's also
basically-
weaker.
he's basically
He'd still
walking
favor
vegetable
force
with
energy, though.
extreme force powers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He had physically a lot of weak points to himself,
Mhm.
but just because he was so scary, he's so strong with the Force is what made his power go.
You wouldn't be able to do a sneak attack on him.
No, no.
unless you were truly
I mean,
quiet.
you've played. Have you played Fallen Order?
No.
Okay, well, spoiler alert. You alright with spoilers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
At
don't
the end of the
mind
game,
playing.
Darth Vader shows up and literally tears the entire place apart to get to you.
And you're running away.
It's not a boss battle because you know if it was a boss battle, you would die. The whole mission, it's like a side quest to beat the game. The whole point of it is you got to run away from him, or else he'll kill you.
Is that the game with the guy who's got the red hair?
Yes.
Yes. I know they're pushing. They're trying to actually bring him into one of the series.
Yeah, they want to bring him into canon. 'Cause
Yeah.
technically, the EA games are canon.
Yeah.
Back to episode 8.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay.
Well, we were
Yeah.
talking about that. We were talking about the prequels.
Okay,
Why?
so the
As a
entire everything with Luke is just so disappointing. I mean, him drinking the alien titty milk is just.
It's great.
But-
No. Yeah.
Ugh.
It's what really
Smiling.
hurts is especially because they bring it up in this film a lot. Well, not a lot. But they bring it up of like he did start training other Jedi, and that's what I wanted in this trilogy was to see the younger generation come up. Is that because they think they made it? They think they have the younger generation come up in these films. They don't.
That's why it sure
Because they don't do
started.
anything with the things. Yeah, I figure so. I'm like, okay, you know, if we're gonna get Luke, he's gonna at least have somebody training under him.
Yeah.
You know, to
I
kind
would've
of build
thought,
up the Jedi, and they don't. And they actually mention when, you know, when Kylo Ren takes off, that the other ones went with him, and then just to find out they were like killed off screen. Not the films don't even talk about. I'm like,
Yeah.
so there are other people out here.
If
Would
I
you do
would've-
something with
If I
these
would have
guys?
written the Disney trilogy, the way I would have done it was let history repeat itself. Say at this point, 30 years later, say there's a new Jedi Council, there's a whole school of Jedi run by Luke Skywalker.
Mhm.
That's how I would have done it. Kylo Ren or Ben Solo being that one guy that branches off.
Screw you, people. Walks
And
off.
everybody's worried, like, say it could have built up to him, the relationship between him and Luke, relationship between him and whoever Luke chose as his master, or it could have just been Luke being his master,
Yeah.
and just have him branch off, conflict off of Snoke, and literally just have Episode 3 repeat itself.
Yeah.
That's how I would have done it.
That or they have Kylo. He breaks off with his group, and Luke still has his group, and Luke's whole goal is to bring them all together because he knows
Yeah.
that they're all still good. But Kylo's conflicted, and his guys. So maybe some of them do just go straight to that
Yeah.
side.
And I mean, you could have, like, I know they wanted a new character like Rey. Rey had potential, but like the way I would have written it is the main character being Luke and Ben would have
Yeah.
been how I would have done it.
Yeah, before you do, because this thing is Ben is really more of a main than Rey is.
Yeah.
Ray's kind of boring to me,
Yeah,
actually.
she just kind of is like there, and she does.
Because
Her backstory means something. It doesn't mean
It's
something.
always
It
been
does
about
mean
the
something.
Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
So I would have kept it in the family.
Yeah.
Is the way I would have done it. And I mean, I could have done a Palpatine. They could have done a Palpatine thing. Keep Rey as a granddaughter,
Yeah.
but keep Palpatine himself dead. And while as I mean, it could even been one of the students Luke picked up. Along
Yeah,
the
I was
way.
just thinking to have her as
Like,
still
you
as
could have-
Palpatine's granddaughter. Have Luke know that,
Yeah.
but train her anyways, even if she doesn't know
Because
that,
he
and other
knew-
people don't.
Yeah, it would be in Luke's main character, in his personality to train someone with such a legacy type.
Yeah.
Because he believed his father had the light side. He would have believed someone with such a dark legacy behind him could have some light potential. And he
Yeah.
would have trained Rey.
Yeah.
Rey would have thrived. Kylo would have been jealous
Yeah.
of that. And, it could have been that same Anakin attitude thing.
Yeah.
And branch off to Snoke. I mean, you still could have done something with that.
I would have been okay with that. Instead, we get Luke, who senses a little bit of evil in his nephew and just pulls out his lightsaber, prepared to kill him.
Yeah,
I mean,
would've-
he stops himself
Wait a
from
second,
doing
that's
it.
Not, that's not right.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, like
But
this is
then-
not your character at all.
No.
Then Ben goes,
Okay,
wait
can
a
you,
minute, you're attacking me.
let's,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So you
put-
don't blame Kylo. Like, dude, he fucking pulled out a sword on me. Okay, it's
Yeah, let's
not.
What happened to that green lightsaber?
do a what if scenario
know.
right here. Say Luke Skywalker, little bit of darkness. Oh. How do I
how's the other-
explain this to Leia and Han?
How are the other students going to explain it?
Yeah, that's not. Yeah,
Oh my
seriously.
god, what happened to Ben?
I sneezed.
Jeez. Well,
Ate
you
too
see,
much cheese.
kids, sometimes,
Yeah.
Sometimes the master has to kill their student
so you know how
to protect the balance.
in the dark side, Yeah, it's like in the dark side, the student always kills the master. Well, see, the Jedi are different. I don't know how, like.
I don't know how he died.
Luke was always straight. He was a thinker. He thought about everything he did, and that's not something you would actually think about. He was just said, instinctively, I did this. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, that
Even
whole
Mark Hamill himself didn't agree with what Ryan Johnson had.
Mark Hamill's a great actor too.
I really want
He tried.
like Ryan Johnson to sit down, like what exactly he was going for with this film, because like everybody he just made everybody useless.
Yeah.
Money.
Okay, so
I get the point. It was like, man, like story wise, like what did he think he was making, or where did he think he was leaving?
So I was reading an article back when that Last Jedi came out, and off of what Ryan Johnson, he had a more philosophy type, artsy idea to it. It had more like an abstract philosophy.
Oh,
So the reason Rey's parents were nobodies is because he wanted to. He didn't want Rey to be related to somebody from the previous trilogy. He wanted her to be her own character,
I'm fine with that.
and that's okay.
It would have been nice if they had stuck to that.
Yeah.
Right, I would have been okay with that too.
no.
Right.
J.J. Abrams.
He
was
wanted.
on the
He
team.
didn't want. He wanted to kill off Luke at the end of the movie because he didn't want Luke to outshadow these new characters.
Again, fine with that.
Right.
And yeah, that's understandable. Okay,
You
He
kind
did
of
say
get up
something
past
like
the torch.
Yeah.
that. And he wanted to add Rose. I think was I don't remember why, honestly.
Honestly, watching that film, I feel so bad for that actress.
Yeah, I do.
You know, the hate that she got after that. I'm like, because I hated that character, but I don't hate that person.
Right.
No, and like I said, like as we're watching it,
No, she tried.
she was just
pretty good
she's
actress.
just an employee. She's a worker. She's doing her job.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought
And
she was
everybody
doing it
sent
very
her
well.
death threats
Yeah.
and threatened
I
her,
think-
and she's deleted her social media. But the person you should be going after for that was Ryan. Okay, I shouldn't.
Ryan
make people
Johnson's
go-
your fault.
It's Ryan Johnson's fault, but I'm
Right.
not gonna promote
Yeah,
violence.
we're not advocating that.
I am not advocating violence.
We just don't
But I
like.
would say
we
it
don't
was
like
Ryan
him.
Johnson's fault and not that actress who played Rose Tico's fault.
If there's
She was
flaming
just doing her
bags of
job.
poop on any
She was just doing what her
doorstep,
boss was telling her to do.
You
It's
know where to
just,
go with it.
You know, just like anybody else who has a job out there.
It was, I think what
I
just
thought she
hurt
was a
her.
good actress though.
Yeah, she's not a bad actress. And
No.
the thing is, it goes to like the other actors and actresses in this film is,
I thought each one
They-
played pretty well.
yeah, they just were giving nothing. Like Finn's whole storyline, like, oh, we gotta go find the master hacker. That didn't matter. That went nowhere. They didn't find the guy. They got screwed over at the end. And again, it just didn't matter. Even if they would have found the guy, they wouldn't have got back in time anyways.
Exactly.
No, and that plot didn't make any sense either because they had about 6 hours of fuel.
Yeah.
You do all these side adventures. That's gonna take
Yeah.
more than 6
yeah,
hours.
yeah, then they were fucking around. And I was like, what are we doing here?
They were in jail.
Oh, look,
yeah.
they didn't have. They were empty on fuel, but they had enough fuel to send
They diverted.
escape ships to
Yeah,
the
They
planet
diverted
they
the
were
fuel. They don't
by. They were close by, and then they also had enough fuel for their main cruiser
Hey, wait a
to
second.
hyperdrive into.
Unless they kept a small amount of fuel to engage the hyperdrive, at least once.
I don't know. If they were so critical on fuel, how did they have that much fuel?
Well, the escape ships don't require much.
Yeah.
You can fill
And the
enough of
thing
those
is,
up and keep.
You could
enough-
just crash land.
She
those
wasn't
things.
planning on originally going to hyperdrive. That was because she was the decoy. She was trying to let them escape, and they were still gonna follow, and she
Yeah.
was just gonna go down when the
and
shields
then
went down.
She stared at.
But
the,
then they
she-
started attacking the
She
ships.
stared at the explosions,
Okay,
and she
yeah.
didn't use the ship as a wall.
Yeah, as a wall or tried to fire back.
But no, turn around and engage the hyperdrive.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it worked, but
And because Snoke had some magical telepathy that he knew exactly what the Resistance plans were.
and that's is also the
He
whole
even said that,
storyline
he's
with
like,
Poe.
I know exactly what they're doing, so I'm just gonna hit the escape ships and they'll be fine. And
Yeah.
we'll kill
What's
the
with the
Resistance.
Death Star cannons?
Yeah,
Everybody has Death Star technology now,
Well, yeah, they built it once. They can do it again.
Right.
and shrink it.
Yeah.
They expanded it with Starkiller Base.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, that was the Death Star. This is Starkiller Base.
It's bigger.
Presumably
So
how you
can't
can
be
like create
surprised
something
they
that
had
big and like hide
battery
it.
cannons.
That's what gets on my nerves with the ninth film. But also Poe, I think was probably my favorite character from the seventh film, and then they just gave him nothing.
I
even
got-
less than what
I
they
gotta
gave
rewatch
everybody else.
7.
It's 7 solid, man. It holds up
Yeah.
so good.
Oh yeah, 7 was good.
Because it's like, like I said, when it ends there, you're like, okay, I want to see where this new cast is going.
J.J. Abrams kept the movies. The 8 and 9 would be different.
Yeah.
Then it was Peanuts with Lucy in the football where you're like, you know.
That's 8. 8 goes, lift off.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you get the really good setup, you know. You watch 7, you really enjoy it, and then you get to 8, and it's like, man, I got one more of these, don't I?
Yeah.
You know, like,
I've never seen a trilogy.
I didn't say it was horrible. It was just like, but basically he was playing cleanup through the entire movie.
Best he could.
And it was still a rough experience, especially knowing that the other Star Wars were basically, the first 3 were, not our generation. And then we have the prequels, which aren't as terrible as people like to believe, but they're not
people
as
come around on them.
Right, they're not as grand as the original set.
It's funny. Like,
so we don't get that. Oh, this grand, experience with Star Wars everyone else got in the '60s.
Yeah.
It's funny how everyone prequels got so much hate, but once these new trilogy came out, the prequels are apparently so good.
Yeah.
One thing that saved the prequel,
well.
I think what saved the prequel reputation was the Clone Wars. Star Wars: The Clone Wars really saved the prequel trilogy.
I will give it to you that.
Just with that alone. I mean, without that series, I think that prequel trilogy would have still been rough to look at. But now that we've all,
I mean, they introduced a lot of great characters also in the prequel trilogy. Just, like I said, the first film I think is just terrible, but Qui-Gon Jinn and then Darth Maul.
They were both really
They were fantastic. And you want to see more of Qui-Gon Jinn.
I would love to see more of Qui-Gon Jinn.
I think that's too. If he wouldn't have died and it would have been Obi-Wan that died, Anakin would have never went to the dark side.
right.
He was the better master. Even because I rewatched those films last year, Obi-Wan mentions he would have been the better guy. I'm not I'm not the guy that should be training you. Like it easily should be him. Like Obi-Wan, even they mentioned it. He mentioned himself I have my faults. I should not be this person. I can't do this. Where Qui-Gon Jinn could do that.
Yeah. Obi-Wan was a better fighter than Qui-Gon, though.
Yep. Obi-Wan was more the fighter, but when it came to the teacher and the philosophy, and that's where you wanted
I feel like
Qui-Gon
that's where old Obi-Wan comes in. I feel like the original trilogy aged Obi-Wan got his patience from Qui-Gon, because Qui-Gon was a very patient man.
Oh,
and that was just based off of, he was very...
Or at least a movie about young Qui-Gon.
He wasn't even
cool.
he wasn't...
It's in the same locker.
Just watching it, he...
The prequel with Eddard Stark and Bobby Baratheon.
He also doubted the Jedi Order.
Bobby B.
Yeah, he was actually one of the strongest Jedi. He would have easily been on the council, but he just didn't want to do it.
No.
And they all respected, when you had the top guys all respect you, and you're pretty much saying I'm not fucking with this.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this.
That's Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon Jinn. He was wise, but he also didn't really want to play by the rules.
No, because he just didn't like.
He
how they
liked
handled
the balance of things.
I mean, the way Jedi do things is kind of jacked up when you put a microscope to it. They kind of they almost enslave just about everybody. They tell you not to feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to even marry.
You're not allowed to marry,
that.
but you can actually have children.
Right.
Which is interesting, because Qui-Gon Jinn obviously felt sympathy. That's why he took in this boy. Because he wanted to take both Anakin and his mother, but he couldn't take both slaves. Qui-Gon had his way. He would have taken both slaves, and that's because he felt sympathy. Something Jedi don't feel.
Right.
I mean, if it was just any old ordinary Jedi going to Tatooine, he wouldn't even thought about the Force. He was just like, these slaves are nothing. Whatever. Let's get out. Let's get off this dusty planet.
Qui-Gon viewed, I need parts. I gotta go the long route.
Yeah, Qui-Gon had a vision, and he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. So I think anything else you guys want to discuss? Episode 8.
Yeah.
The Luke Skywalker ghost thing.
Oh, his ghost battle.
Ghost force projection.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
It's cool, but like I said, what hurt me is it just once you realize he's not there, it makes everything he does do there when it seems like badass, like the fight scene.
He getting blasted.
And you're like, he just wasn't there at all. I'm like, oh, well, that's less impressive. I mean, it's impressive that you made the ghost all the way out there, but I'm like, Yeah, if you would have just kind of went there, you know, and
It
just
would've been
did
more-
that
would've
and
been cool.
died there, I kind of would have preferred. But
Right. Like, I mean, from the
He could've done
project
something-
himself out there
done
to
something
just
really
die
epic.
anyway is kind of like.
yeah,
I didn't
like-
like the way he died. I
He
did
just
not
kind
like
of
the way
falls
Luke
over and
Skywalker
just
died.
sits there and vanishes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so anticlimactic.
Rope falls to the ground.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
almost like he had a biscuit and he choked on a biscuit and that's how he died.
You know,
yeah.
I would have
What a way to
preferred
go.
it to be like an early 2000 thing where they use so much power they got a nosebleed. I would have
Yeah.
preferred to see like his nose bleeding and then poof, he's gone kind
Right.
of thing, or at least just super weakened.
Yeah.
Blood coming out of all the everything.
Yeah, 'cause
Nose,
that's what it was like
ears.
an early 2000s thing. It was
eyes.
like, what was that? Show Charmed used to do that.
Oh,
When
yeah.
anyone used too much power, their nose would bleed.
Even-
Fantastic Four did that when Invisible Woman
Yeah.
was
Supernatural-
doing things, her nose
Supernatural did
started
that.
bleeding. That was like the
I
thing
think
back then.
some animes did that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get powerful and you start bleeding out of something.
hmm Yeah, that definitely would have been the better route
Yeah.
for that to go.
And just have him weakened and then show up in the next movie.
Mhm.
And then maybe die. I wouldn't even mind if he died in like early episode 9.
Or dramatic force explosions blow him up. That'd be
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Also, it just didn't feel like he passed the torch.
No, he didn't.
Like, I mean, you can almost say that, you know, Han Solo somewhat passes the torch to Rey. You know, he dies with her there or whatever, and she sees it, and, you know, there's some, so she has that going,
There
which
wasn't
why
no torch passing. No,
why
it was,
she doesn't like
it
Kylo
was,
Ren.
It was more like what they Return of the Jedi. No, Empire Strikes Back. Luke didn't agree with Yoda because
Mhm.
Yoda told him to stay. He said, "No, I gotta go and see my friends."
Mhm.
Basically, Rey did the same thing.
Yeah.
She was like,
Luke did
except
it.
she-
Luke did it cooler.
Yeah.
"Yeah,
And also, Luke loses at the end of it, and he feels he's like, yeah, Yoda was right.
right."
He comes to the conclusion, like, no, I shouldn't have. Yeah, I saved my friends, but I lost. We lost. You know, he thinks Han's dead, which the plan was for Han to be dead by the end of that film. They brought him back. So like, he realizes what happened. Where Rey doesn't really realize that she did anything, like, messed
No.
up. Or like,
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
she doesn't know how to do anything, but we act like she
I
does.
don't feel
Yeah,
like
because Luke
Rey
at this
could
point,
even-
Luke was right, but she didn't realize it. And Luke realizes he's right. He's like, "God dang it, I gotta do something
I don't
before
even
she gets
feel
herself
like Rey
killed."
could train anybody actually.
No. She doesn't really know how to do anything.
No.
That's how it's weird. Like, even in the 7th film, is like she's like a natural at doing some things. Like, she can do it.
Yeah,
and
they
she
made her
goes toe to toe
so-
with Kylo Ren with no training. So, oh, she's a natural. If she works on that, she's going to be great. She never works on it.
Yeah, and then episode
It
8,
just gets
she's
better.
So
I'm like, how did
naive.
they-
She's just so
Episode
dumb
8.
about things. She said,
She tries.
The Force
she
makes
attacks
things
Obi-
float.
or, attacks
and
Luke.
then he goes, "Reach out." She reaches her hand out like an idiot. Like, oh,
He smacks her.
Right.
That's kind of an
I
amusing.
don't know. It was amusing, but
Yeah.
that was like,
Reach out.
Which I could see Luke doing, like playing, like, as a mentor, like, playing or something. But then he goes from that to dark, depressing Luke Skywalker who just hates life. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. You can't have a happy moment, then just go back to fucking
oh,
Go
he
back
would've
drinking
been like,
milk.
come
sad
on.
sack.
Go
Yeah.
back
Like,
drinking
come on,
milk
guy,
and
come on, kid.
fishing.
Really?
It's like
Let me
bringing
show you
it
how
back.
it's done.
Yeah.
Go drink your milk and fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
That's
fishing
it.
scene was actually kind of cool.
Yeah. So I said there's like
I would have thought he
moments.
had a bigger fish though, with that long of a javelin.
Yeah.
He was at the top of a cliff. That was so unnecessary.
Right.
Lifts up. Wait a second. Stabs down. Got it. And then, how would he? Would he just keep
Yeah, just keep doing this.
And then stick it up, stick it back in the throne.
drop it?
That
throw it over his
or
shoulder.
get on, he just dragged it up. But I mean, I feel
He
that
was
would
on
be
the edge
too
of a
hard
cl-
for how long it is.
If he was on that little edge of a cliff
Yeah.
like that, how does he? And he balances
That's
that
what she
spear back up there,
Yeah,
pulls the fish off,
he's got
reels
to
back
carry
up.
that thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then
That's
R2D2 and Chewbacca completely just useless in this entire film.
Yeah, they were just kind of thrown
Yeah,
aside.
except
like every that's what I
Chewbacca
don't
was
get.
eating the pork. That was funny.
It's
The only thing R2D2 did was show Luke the video of "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi,"
yeah.
That's a low.
and then
was
that
funny.
was like, "Yeah, okay, I guess I'll help people."
Well, that's what's so weird is like everybody's thrown aside in this film. So like, oh, they focus on somebody else. They didn't. They just like everybody just like, yeah, we're not gonna focus on any of you in this film. You all are just gonna do side stuff again away from each other when you guys were better together.
Yeah.
I think
And
there was
then it's
four
all
or,
just not
five,
gonna matter.
4 or 5 different side
And it
things
wasn't
going
until
on.
the end of the film you didn't realize that Poe and Rey never met each other.
Yeah, I didn't put that together from the last film.
Yeah,
I gotta rewatch 7.
and
I
then
don't
they
remember.
finally like properly
We
were
think
introduced.
This is like a little bit of like a time jump from from that one. So you think, okay, so it should have started off. They all should have been together,
Right.
not you know.
That was the whole thing. Was the
No.
original trilogy too? Was the whole group was together?
Yeah.
No, you had a.
It felt like
there's
episode 8,
Dreadnought.
as we were talking about earlier. It felt like episode 8 was almost taking a page off of the Walking Dead's book.
Yeah.
You know, just
Everybody's
it
doing their
grew-
side thing.
if you have a group of main characters, they are so much better when they are together on screen. But when you have them doing different things,
The only thing for you,
sorry.
Terrell, is it ends off on a cliffhanger for something we know that's not going to get resolved.
Right.
Which is weird that they did that. I'm like, oh man, that's cool. That's never going to come back up again.
No.
So I'm glad we did that.
No.
Not really.
The 7th season of Clone Wars kind of touched upon it. That Darth Maul was this big mob boss type guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that.
Because it was like a big plot point towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I forgot
And-
about that.
But I was just, by that point was the end of episode 3, and he was just throwing it all away because he knew what was happening.
I don't know. I thought Rogue One was interesting, but it was a pointless story.
It is.
I didn't really
It's,
see it.
it's,
It
it's still
was
my
good.
second favorite Star Wars film. But yeah, it's one of those. It didn't need to be told.
No.
But I appreciate the story that they told.
I saw it twice. I rewatched a few months back because I know I saw it, but
Mhm.
I couldn't remember if it liked me. I'm like, that's a pointless story.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, anybody else got any final things before we move on? No?
No.
Everyone good? Alright, so now move on to something fun.
Watch it at your own risk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't watch episode 8 expecting greatness.
Yeah. No.
Don't expect any of those movies to be great.
After 7, it really went down.
Yeah.
Okay, something fun, which would be our series review of Loki.
Ah,
It was good.
Oh, it was really good.
Great,
We
Loki.
briefly mentioned it in the last episode, but we didn't do a full-on review.
Yeah.
I loved every minute of that
Oh
show.
yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah. There's one thing I didn't like in episode 1, which they kind of touched about in episode 6. It's not really. I don't think they did it on purpose. I just didn't like episode 1 where Loki got taken out randomly by the chick. Like she just like did the whole time thing to him. Like you're an As.
You feel the pain in slow motion.
Yeah, I'm like you're Asgardian, dude. Like she shouldn't even got that close to you.
Right.
But then they bring up an
Well,
episode.
He's not true Asgard.
Yeah, but he's still got powers. Like his like a level of that chick and Loki are not the same.
I don't want to. But he got caught off guard. He was
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
They
Which
just showed up and just smacked him.
yeah, which they do in episode 5 or 6 when he's talking with the other Loki. I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Sylvie.
Wow, you guys all made me look really bad here with that. I'm usually good with names.
Oh, all right.
He's talking to her and the one of the variants, the older guy, he's creating all that
Classic.
stuff, and
Classic
she's like,
Loki.
yeah, he's like, I think we're a lot stronger than what we think we are. So I think that's his thing is he thinks he's at a level which he's a lot higher than, but he just doesn't try. He's just Loki. He does Loki
No,
things. It's like, dude,
Loki-
you could do a lot more. You just don't.
He had this weird power when they were trying to get to that arc.
Yeah, when they were on
The
Luminous, Lumentus 1.
Yeah,
Lamentous, yeah.
Yeah. And their building falls on him, and
he just does this chest thing.
does
and
this
his building
chest
goes
thing,
back
and the
up.
building goes back up.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. He's
That
got
was like, what?
telekinesis
We were
or
like, whoa, hold up, what?
something?
I
Telekinetic
really
ability?
enjoyed that episode.
I
It's a
did
great
too.
episode. I think that whole series is great.
Oh.
Yeah, so
At the end of each episode, it's
That-
like, I want more.
So,
Yeah.
fun fact about that Lumentus scene when they were on the train, the song that Loki was singing was actually composed by a guy from Norway who composed that as an ancient thing, and he was really impressed with the way Tom Hiddleston pronounced these words.
Tom Hiddleston kills it in this,
Oh,
this
yeah.
entire
Yeah,
he
show.
was-
Like I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but man, he really pulls it off.
Yeah.
I think the
he
mist.
makes his character.
Yeah.
And you watched him in Thor 1 in Avengers, and he's kind of just the basic villain, whatever.
But they
And
built
by
him
Thor
up.
Ragnarok, is his character's a little more developed,
Yeah.
and he's kind of like, he's a little shows it a little better. This show, he does a phenomenal job. He just kills it, right on the
Yeah.
butt.
I've really enjoyed the mystery of the TVA,
Yeah,
what they do with that.
They're,
Exactly.
they're all actually variants.
Yeah.
that was a
they-
cool twist.
Yes, and I didn't see that coming.
So
Like I
And,
was so
like, Sylvie
curious.
didn't
where
even
it was
realize
going.
it. She just one thing I liked that this show did was she found out something she didn't even know was a mystery.
Yeah.
Because like she's like, oh, they're all variants, just like us. You didn't know that? She's like, Loki's like, nobody knows that.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't even know that.
I gotta tell them. What the hell? Like, what?
Just
Yeah.
found out about the TVA.
And
like
she
2
just
days
threw that out
ago.
so
yeah.
casually. Like, what do you mean you didn't know that? They didn't tell you that? No.
No,
They
'cause they-
didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Episode 5 was all the Lokis were pretty cool.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
every-
The alligator.
The alligator Loki.
As
man,
everybody
the
is
best
calling
Loki.
Croaky, but he's actually an alligator.
And then they had, was it
Out.
Thor? Or the Frog Thor? Frog Thor?
Frog Thor. Yeah,
Thor,
an alligator
Thor,
Loki.
Yeah, Thor.
All the variants was it Boastful Loki, Classic Loki, Kid Loki, and Alligator Loki. And man, do they
vote for Loki.
yeah.
President Loki.
Someone threw out that in the upcoming Tinkerbell movie, Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, it's a live action recast. I think
Why?
Tom Hiddleston is playing Captain Hook. And someone threw out
I
the
am now interested in this film. I
yeah.
didn't know anything
Someone
about.
threw out the theory was that Loki, who got his hand bit off by alligator Loki, was probably gonna be Captain Hook.
That's
Yeah,
pretty funny.
coincidence?
Dude,
I think
Tom
not.
Hiddleston then do, was it, guy who plays Spider-Man, he can be Peter Pan. There you go.
Which guy who plays Spider-Man? There's like
19.
3 of them.
The obviously younger one. I cannot think of his name.
Tom
right
Holland?
now.
Tom
Tom Holland. There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow, you're better at
yes,
names today.
You're right.
I know. I'm usually good with this.
It's a good old brain fog right there.
Yeah.
the guy who plays Spider-Man. There's like 3 of them. Right?
I know. I wrote narrowed
Well,
that one down.
Okay, and you can narrow
No,
out
it's
the voice
Toby
act.
Maguire. He looks like a teenager.
No. It's just a kid.
He looked 25 in high school. The guy who played Flash looked 42, but how about that fucking film?
Yeah. And then Mary Jane looked like she's at least 30.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was like how they casted. Even
Well,
watched.
that's how they used to cast teenage, well,
Yeah.
like high school kids back in the day. It was always people in 20.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they still do that, but at least get younger looking ones.
Yeah. Oh, was it
Like
Nasty
Not like a-
Classified? Oh, what was that girl's name?
Mose.
Mose was like 22 during that whole show, and they were all like middle schoolers.
Yeah.
I was
That
watching,
seems about right.
what was it, The Craft. I watched The Craft on like Monday or Tuesday, and I started going through IMDb like I do.
Yeah.
And found out that Rachel True was playing a teenager in high school, and she was almost 30. She was like on her way to be 30 years old. And I'm like, man, she's almost as old as my mother. Holy crap.
Wow.
Oh.
I was also thinking, what are they gonna do with Kid Loki? Because I'm very interested in that
he
story.
killed Thor.
Someone
Yeah,
threw-
he
okay.
killed Thor. Like,
Okay.
and the
How?
older they said no, he's the king. Like, so
Here's-
there's something with like he's
Here's the
stronger
deal
than what
here.
people.
Right.
Well, he doesn't
Someone
have his
put
sword's
2
gone
and
now.
2 together. I was reading a thing about it. Someone put 2 and 2 together. There was a group of fans from this article I read that think he killed Thor, but it probably wasn't that big of a deal when he did it. But because he's Loki, he lied and made it this big deal. So
I killed Thor.
you've watched Thor Ragnarok, right?
Yeah.
Remember the scene where Thor was like, when we were kids, he disguised himself as a snake because he knows I love snakes, and then he popped up and said, it's me, and stabbed me.
Yeah.
So the theory is that when he stabbed
that
him, he
scene.
probably killed him by accident.
Right.
And then, boom, TVA pops up, kidnaps him, and he goes to this group with all these Lokis and like, I killed Thor, guys! Because that's the Loki thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, win by accident, but boast about, just
Yeah.
brag about it.
Quite.
So that was probably the thing.
Right.
The thing is how he killed Thor.
You brought up Ragnarok, and I immediately thought of that Matt Damon play.
Oh god.
You know,
yeah,
I-
man, if they
I
could have
wanted to see
afforded
Matt
to put
Damon
him
in that
there.
in that little variant thing. That would have been
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's missed opportunities.
Missed opportunity.
I have a weird thing with Matt Damon. I really enjoy him as an actor. He is not a selling point for a movie for me.
Right.
Like someone's like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
you see that new Matt Damon movie?" I'm like, "No, I'm good."
Jason
But
Bourne.
but when he shows up and stuff, like, "Oh man, Matt Damon's in here."
Exactly.
It's weird.
Why can't I picture him right
Brad
now?
Pitt,
Saving Private Ryan,
Jason Bourne movies.
Jason Bourne. I don't like the Bourne movies.
Okay.
The Departed.
See, Brad
Yeah,
Pitt's
The
kind of the
Departed
same
is-
thing for
yeah,
me.
he's in such stuff that I love, and I'm like, but I'm also like, oh man, new Matt Damon movie. Okay,
Brad, I feel the same way about
Exactly.
Brad Pitt.
like yeah, I can see that.
And it was like hilarious because they're like, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. That was a good
Yeah,
movie, but
yeah.
it's whatever. What else was he in? He was in
Fight Club.
Fight Club. Was it? Who was in World War Z?
He was in
He was
World
in
War
World
Z.
War Z,
Okay,
yeah.
he was in World War Z.
I hate
And then,
those
he
zombies.
pops up in Deadpool, and that's what you're most excited about, was Deadpool 2. He was Invisible Man.
Yeah, he shows like, oh man.
Like, wait, was
Brad
that
Pitt.
Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
It's like how you knew Mel Gibson was in the pilot episode of South Park. He played a dog,
Oh jeez.
barking. He had 3 lines, just woof, woof. Yeah,
Mel
That's
Gibson.
excellent.
That's great.
and apparently South Park has had, ever since their pilot, has had a history of throwing in major celebrities as minor roles as possible.
Oh yeah, no, doing that Matt Damon role and then have that Loki like see him, be like, yeah, no, I'm Loki from somewhere else. He just kind of just stares at him like, just looks at him a little bit.
Right.
A lot of
Hold
people
on.
joking about that the TVA probably pruned or reset Rhodey from Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also probably reset Edward Thornton,
Yeah,
Norton Hulk,
Edward
American
Norton.
Incredible
Ed
Hulk.
Norton.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
all
Which
that.
I mean, they improved there.
Yeah.
I gotta think of Edward Norton too. I think-
Edward Norton.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ed Norton.
Norton.
He's not as good as he thinks he is. I'll
No.
say that. He's a
Like-
very good actor, but for some reason he puts himself on a higher pedestal than I believe he
Yeah.
is.
Like his best performance to me was when he was in American
History X, yeah.
and like I really still love the Incredible Hulk, but I kind of had to just say, yeah, you're probably right. We're better off with Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Should we review that movie?
That's a good movie.
Wait,
What?
American History X.
Oh no.
Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk.
I
No,
like Incredible
Let's
Hulk.
okay. If we're
First
gonna
one.
review a bad Hulk movie, it should just be Hulk.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, fucking add that to the
Please,
list.
no.
Yeah. Put Hulk on there.
Yes.
God damn it.
I didn't even think about that. Oh man, it's that movie. Something else. It's just Hulk.
This is Hulk. Oh. Alright.
They changed it back. Someone actually pointed out that was probably the riskiest, best Hulk superhero movie out there, just because it was darker toned. But, you know, it is what it is.
So what you guys think of Sylvie, like as a character? I think the actress did a good
her.
job.
I liked her.
I
Yeah.
liked
Like
her.
She refuses to call herself a Loki though.
So
Right.
But her
to me, I
Which
feel
I mean,
like
that just made it easier trying to pick apart.
so
I can't say female.
I guess
Loki all
I
the
want to
time.
say this
Right.
the Loki
Lady
thing to
Loki.
do to betray who you're close to, but to me it just felt so out of character. To like she was building up to be this good guy, and then just straight up betrays Loki at the end of the show. But at the same time,
she
that
had
is
her goal. Like
yeah,
she
she had her
was
goal.
like
And
Loki. That's just he was just a side.
yeah.
thing
That's
there.
kinda
At the
what
same time, like this was that is a Loki thing to
Yeah.
do. So
Well, that's what I like this. They're talking to the Owen Wilson talking about the alligator. It's
Yeah.
like, well, you don't even know if sure if he is Loki. He could be lying, but then that makes it more seem like he could be Loki.
yeah, that's just the Loki thing to do. He
Yeah.
was
So
lying.
now I'm conflicted.
It's the Loki paradox. It's severely disappointed in the fact Owen Wilson never said "wow" once.
Ah,
No, I found it more.
he was such a great
Oh,
addition.
yeah.
So that was,
Just MCU. This that character. He reminds me of.
did he ever get a jet ski?
I don't think he did. I need to
No.
see that at least once.
He's
But
gotta have a jet
he
ski.
reminds me of. Oh God, he's the detective from Ant-Man. I'm just blanking on everybody right now. Was
What
it
detective and what?
from Ant-Man? He's also in
Jimmy Woo?
WandaVision. Jimmy Woo. Why
Yeah.
I'm fucking blanking on everybody.
Jimmy
Where-
Woo was in WandaVision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he said
It's
so.
kind of like that.
So that's what he reminds me of. I need more characters like that in the
Yeah.
MCU, where they're more comedy wise, but like I don't want anything bad to happen to those guys. Like keep them around.
Mhm.
Like Jimmy Woo, he can get his own show. I'll watch that. Or just have him just keep popping
Did-
up. Have Owen Wilson just pop up and random things where the whole TVA stuff, and he's just in the background. You see.
Yeah, Owen Wilson should make cameos now,
Oh,
like
yeah.
Stan Lee did. They should have.
They should really get a poster, like a
Oh,
poster in
man.
every one of the movies that say, "Have you seen this man still
honestly,
missing?"
Stan
Yeah.
Lee would have been a great addition to the TVA if he was still alive.
Oh yeah.
Because
Well,
that
he
would
was a lot
explain
too,
all
wasn't
of his cameos. Be like he's just popping up here and there.
Yeah.
Instead, they
was-
made him like a friend of the Watchers. But,
Yeah.
I mean that makes sense too.
It should have been like they have a picture of Stan Lee, like employee of the century.
Yeah.
So it's just where he was just
Employee
popping up.
or just
Yes.
Every-
have like a plaque, Stan
Yeah.
Lee's face, employee of all time
Yeah.
or something.
Or
Employee. Or is like
TVA Employee of the Millennium or something
like
like
something. That would be
That-
awesome.
Of the Eon or something stupid like that.
That would have been great.
Yeah. Now, the ending. What do we want to kick out? What else about the show do you want
That's
to talk
what I
about
was
before
trying
the
to
ending?
go around for that. I love the idea of the TVA.
Oh
Of
yeah.
them
do
bouncing
too.
around, doing stuff like that. Really hitting at the other dimensions, which we've talked about.
Other
this.
timelines? No,
Yeah.
we're not allowed. These
Yeah.
guys stay. But isn't it a bad idea to throw a bunch of powerful beings at the end of time?
That's what that beast was for.
Yeah.
Was to beat him.
But there would have been one or two. Look, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Sylvie,
exactly what they did. 'Cause
stop the
Loki-
beast.
Yeah.
But yet, there's still a bunch at the end of time now. A bunch of these stupidly
You
powerful.
know, an infinite amount of Lokis. You're surprised that there wasn't another Loki with an enchantment ability to do that to the beast. But the ending kind of
Which
explains
that could
that
be
too.
how far they were in their training if they even knew that. And also, you notice the Lokis don't get along.
No.
So, you know how long that's been going on. They've just been killing each other. Or
Yeah,
doing
and
whatever.
they do explain that in the ending, kind of.
Yeah.
Which I'll get that when we get to
I
that.
still want to
point.
know. Sylvie was just born.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, nope. She's a variant.
Right.
Okay.
Took them a couple of years to kidnap her though. 'Cause she was at
She was
least
like
like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
10 at the
Little
most.
kid.
But
Also,
I mean,
nope.
TVA is busy when they're busy.
Yeah.
So.
Also, they had to get Tara Strong in there. I enjoyed that.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just-
Yes.
Yeah. She just
Hey,
is in
y'all.
everything. I know.
Talk about that jump scare at the last episode.
Yeah.
They just kind of stood there like,
Mickey.
okay.
Yeah, crap your pants at the just the hey y'all.
Yeah, I enjoyed those
Dark
scenes.
Citadel. Boom, Miss Minutes.
I enjoyed those scenes with her. It was a nice little comedy relief.
Oh yeah. You
That
have to have
exposition was
Yeah.
pretty decent.
I want to know where that judge went.
Yeah.
She went to search for free will.
So
Obviously, that.
there is a comic book thing to her, which was kind of gave it away. But
She was basically in close proximity to Kang.
yeah,
Yeah. Basically, she really only showed up when it was Kang involved, and depending on which Kang it was, she was either friendly or a foe.
yeah,
So, I mean, it kind of sucks that anyone that kind of was in the know kind of knew that, but at the same time, the way they kind of throw things out there, you can just kind of assume that maybe
Yeah.
they won't do something like this.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's one of those things that as the coming, being that all this has come from so much lore and history behind it. It's like when Winter Soldier showed up, like I knew who that was, so that wasn't a mystery to me.
Right.
Like the big reveal was like, oh, I saw that. But in theaters, I saw people like, oh, like gasp, like, oh my god, that was Bucky. I'm like, yeah, kind of,
Yeah, right. Exactly.
kind of hurt herself,
Yeah.
but
And
I'll get
yeah,
that one.
it's that's basically how the Timekeepers were. Like the Timekeepers are this big entity in the comics, and they were just robots.
yeah,
And then led to the bigger question: who created them? Now, my first thought after reading about the Timekeepers on like Wikipedia or whatever,
yeah.
my first thought was, okay, so there were 2 dimensions where they were Timekeepers and where they were Time Twisters. And the comics story arc was the twist was that the Timekeepers they knew were actually Time Twisters in disguise. And that's kind of where I thought the show was going with. Was the ending would have been something like that. Where you just had like, oh, because they were laughing after they cut off the head and was a robot, all the other Timekeepers were just manically laughing, and that's the direction I thought was. Oh, they're probably just 3 evil beings instead of what we
No,
thought they
they got robots.
Yeah.
were. Yeah.
Which when the one's head being that it looked like who it ended up being
Right.
at the end, I was like, oh, that's hinting at something there, hinting at something deeper on. But then it went there,
Yeah.
and I will
Straight
say.
up LMD territory.
Yeah, I will say I was surprised they put that big a name in this show because it seems like every one of these shows, everybody expects this huge name villain, and they're always disappointed. Like the whole Mephisto WandaVision thing, they never said it was gonna be in there.
Right.
No,
But
actually.
then people got mad that it wasn't. They're like, we never said it was. You guys said it was,
Yeah.
and got all excited.
No, the only reason. Thing is, the only reason it. Now, is it alright if I go to the end of the show? Like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can give you
Yeah.
full spoilers.
Good-
At this
good-
point, it's
okay.
kind of hard
Spoiler
to talk
alert.
around it. Yeah.
So at the end, in the last episode, they met He Who Remains. Now, nobody would have known He Who Remains is Kang if months ago they didn't announce who was casted as Kang for Ant-Man 3.
Yeah.
Because Ant-Man 3 was Jonathan Majors as the big villain Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
And the reveal at the end of Loki was Jonathan Majors as He Who Remains. His variants are evil, and that's what he's been protecting from.
Well,
And you're like, oh, that's Kang.
some of the variants were friendly with each other, and the others were like, no, we're conquering your world.
Yeah.
No.
So, like, nobody would have known who that was if he wasn't already casted
Yeah.
like that.
I think
Because they didn't actually say the name Kang, so it
But
could have
yeah.
been anybody.
But it's Kang.
Yeah. Now, this He Who Remains, I think,
Is now dead.
because there is a He Who Remains who's who's the creator of the TVA in the comics.
Right.
This He Who Remains was 3 comic book characters fused together because there's, you know it's Kang the Conqueror. It's a variant of him, but there's another variant of Kang the Conqueror called Immortus, who prunes the timeline a certain way so that he basically dictates where it goes, which is also what this guy did. So it was like 3 comic book characters formed together, which was an interesting direction they went with.
Yeah, with the little bit that we got with Kang in here, I'm so excited.
Oh, me
even more
too.
for that
And then-
Ant-Man movie.
That ending they did.
We have another
um,
year, don't we?
Yeah, I believe it is
that
next
ending
year.
they did where they showed Kang's statue wearing the full outfit.
Yeah.
At that point, now, I want to say Loki is in a TVA that's owned by Kang and not not in his original timeline. Because if he was in his original timeline, it would throw that whole plot hole off, that
Yeah.
Endgame set time. But Captain America already threw that out the toilet anyway.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if he was thrown back to his timeline that Kang had already taken over.
Was Captain America arrested for staying back in time, or was he destined to do that?
He Who Remains didn't care because he dictates the timeline.
Yeah, but Captain America went back in time and stayed there.
Yes,
It was that part of
but
his
He Who
natural
Remains
order.
dictated the timeline.
Yeah, he decided that was okay, basically.
Yeah,
He didn't
And
because
care.
as they said, the time heist was supposed. What the Avengers did was supposed to happen.
Exactly.
So I mean,
So I think he also knew Cap wouldn't affect the timeline in any
Too much.
bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
But
would
the
be
dude
one of those he
literally
stays out of
revealed-
it.
It was probably
okay,
meant
he
to
returned.
be,
He returned
honestly.
stones. Mjolnir. Oh, he's staying back in time. Okay, it'll work.
Yeah, I mean,
it works.
are you
It
really
works.
gonna have the TVA go after a man who just picked up Mjolnir out of his own worthiness?
He would lose the ability to pick it up as soon as he crossed the TVA. That zone.
Right, that would be.
He would hold it,
it'd be
and
another
drop it.
paperweight. No, I don't even think of that because magic doesn't work in the TVA. Anybody in the TVA could wield Mjolnir by that logic.
Yeah, it is enchanted. The enchantment would just be gone.
Yeah,
It would just be a very freaking heavy
because they had a whole
paperweight.
drawer full of
Yeah.
Infinity Stones.
Right.
We just use these as paperweight. What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's
sorry.
where really, it's gonna really push to how strong Kang is. It's like I said, he's created something where Infinity Stones doesn't matter. Like how strong is this guy? Like he's gonna end up being the next Avenger because they haven't actually announced another Avengers film.
No,
So I
feel
think
like
Ant-Man and Wasp, you're gonna get Kang,
So-
and then that's leading it into.
yeah, I
he's
feel
gonna
like
be-
feel like
Ant-Man 3 is going to be like another Avengers-esque movie. Like Captain America Civil War
Yeah.
had all the Avengers together fighting each other. I feel like Ant-Man
Doctor
3...
Strange and Ant-Man are gonna. Those movies are gonna lead to each other.
Yeah, I
Both
feel
of
like
those
Ant-Man
diverse.
3 is going to be that same team-up movie, but it's not going to be Avengers. It's probably going to be all the side characters. And the only reason it's Ant-Man and the Wasp is because you're going to have Ant-Man and the Wasp and probably Hank Pym having to do with a lot of it.
Yeah,
A lot of the science stuff behind it, because they don't exactly have...
quantum zone to travel
Yeah.
through time. And I don't
They
think-
won't exactly have Bruce Banner anymore because of his... he's weakened from the events of Endgame. They'll have Hawkeye doing his own thing, Falcon and Winter Soldier doing their own thing, Wanda probably being a problem.
Wanda's always a problem.
Wanda's a problem, yeah.
I have to
Um,
still watch WandaVision.
And we already confirmed that Spider-Man 3 is going to be a Spider-Verse movie. We know that.
Actually, I looked into that. They've never confirmed Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield. They
Never.
confirmed the villains. They've not confirmed the heroes.
I could have sworn that Tobey Maguire was going to be in the Doctor Strange movie. That's what they were filming for that.
It might be.
Maybe they'll do that. We're mixing.
Tobey Maguire
files.
has been confirmed as a Marvel movie
Yeah.
character.
But they never picked a film yet, which we all know is going to end up being Spider-Man. But because I looked at it, I was like, yeah, well, they confirmed all this stuff. And this guy was like, no, we've never actually confirmed that. The internet confirmed it. We didn't confirm it. So it's gonna happen that way. I feel like it's just too obvious to not. If we're doing
because they did
a time thing, and you already confirmed those villains.
They confirmed
those villains are confirmed.
They confirmed Electro and Green Goblin, and Dr. Octopus.
And Dr. So I mean, that just seems way too obvious to like not.
And they also confirmed the fact that they've confirmed it's a Spider-Verse movie that has to do with the multiverse. Because one thing they confirmed was that J.K. Simmons will play 2 characters, but it's both going to be Jonah Jameson. So
cool.
That's what, man, they've pushed so heavy recently with WandaVision and now Loki of just this multiverse.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those, it just seems so obvious that, like, I mean, they're going for that way. Then you got Doctor Strange and then what's going on there. Then Spider-Man, like, man, they are pushing this heavy.
It almost makes you think, since they've introduced the multiverse, are they really going to recast the X-Men?
I would.
I would too.
They're all
you're beating a dead horse at that point.
Yeah, and they're all too old.
Bring back two different timelines of character.
Would you throw out an X-Men verse out there? Well, that was never a timeline in the X-Men, so they probably
I would say that the X-Men itself over clusterfucked themselves on that.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have they had like, hey, we're following this timeline. But in each film, they went against that timeline and tried to say that it fit.
No, the later movies erased those other movies.
Yeah.
And then
First Class still.
And it basically turned into this is what these guys are going to look like when they're older. Who cares about those first 3 movies?
So okay, whatever.
Yeah. And then Logan happened, and I was like, oh,
They all died.
They all died anyway, just a couple years later.
Which I'm really
curious. They don't die from the Sentinels. They died from something else. They died from
President Xavier having a seizure.
Yes, but they also mentioned in the movie that the government had put chemicals in corn syrup, that when you ate it, it was really insanely poisonous to humans. And the media never put 2 and 2 together.
Wow.
I'm very curious where they take Loki after this.
Me too.
I don't know. It's been renewed for season 2.
What I think is going to happen.
They confirmed season 2.
Since we watched this Black Widow last week, and we saw that character from Falcon and Winter Soldier pop up at the end of Black Widow trying to team up something.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Loki is gonna at least cross over into one of the movies, because he's just trying to go back and forth and tell people something is coming. I feel like he'll have to do you might see Loki in a suit pop up in like Doctor Strange.
If Loki pops up anywhere, they're gonna you're dead.
Exactly.
I think he would actually be a good fit for that team because he's gonna he would try to be the good guy. But the thing is, if Thor's not around, Thor's the only person that where Loki got his redemption that's around to see that. A Hulk is, so unless Hulk's around, the newer
Hulk would be the only one who knows actually Loki died.
Yeah.
Unless he told everybody.
And then how he died. So that's it. So unless he tells them, they just see Loki as the bad guy. He's been gone. None of the other Avengers have dealt with Loki since the first Avengers.
Yeah, so if Loki comes telling the Avengers, you're gonna get something really bad really quick, and they're like, shut up, dude. Yeah, what are you doing here?
They're gonna try to attack him.
Yeah. We don't trust you, you're a bad guy.
You died.
That's probably what Ant-Man 3 is gonna be. It's gonna be like the end of season 2 of Loki. Or season 3, whatever, and he's finally gonna be able to tell somebody that, hey, somebody's coming, but it's too late, and they're like, whatever, dude. And then Kang actually shows up.
See this thing.
I feel like I want to believe that Loki is probably going to have to do big. He was there for Kang to show up. It makes sense that he's only gonna be there when Kang gets defeated.
What happened with Sylvie after she stabbed the guy?
That'll have to do with Loki season 2. I don't know.
I want to know.
Does she dictate the timeline now? Will she be the new Immortus? Who knows?
Or was she there and all of a sudden there's another guy just walking in and kicks the guy out of the chair and sits down?
There might be another fight. I don't know.
I can't see her dictating. I don't think she'd care enough to do it.
No,
she just wanted to just kill them.
She wanted to TVA dead.
She did that.
Now she actually really don't have a goal anymore.
Yeah, what's she gonna do?
She's gonna be a fisherman. Retire, grow a beard.
Yeah.
That'd be what now?
Lumberjack.
Yeah.
Burn herself, go to the end.
Or
talk
she'll
to
just go to a planet where there's fruit and just kind of live, like Thanos.